All right, so today we're going to be deep diving into the world of podiatry,
Oh, cool.
specifically prepping for that podiatrist job interview.
Yeah.
We're dissecting a guide from Indeed.com
Gosh,
filled with common questions and answers just for you aspiring podiatrists out there.
Makes sense.
Think of us as like your interview coaches,
Yeah.
helping you to really stand out from the crowd.
I like that.
And you know what's really interesting
Yeah.
is that nailing a podiatry interview, it's not just about like reciting every single bone in the foot from a textbook.
Exactly.
It goes beyond that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
So what would you say are the key elements? I think
The interviewers are really looking for.
you need to showcase a deep understanding of the field, like podiatry itself.
Okay.
You need to be able to prove your clinical skills and also your ability to connect with patients on a more personal level.
Almost like you're juggling 3 balls at the same time.
Yeah, so let's break each of those down.
Okay.
Starting with podiatric knowledge. What are interviewers really looking for here? Is it just about knowing all that basic anatomy?
Obviously, anatomy is like the foundation.
Sure.
But they also want to see that you're ready to like tackle
Okay.
any foot problem that walks through that door.
Okay.
You know, think about like the breadth of podiatry.
Yeah.
Everything from like common issues like ingrown toenails
Right.
to complex stuff.
Yeah.
Like biomechanics and sports injuries.
It's a huge field.
Yeah, they want to see that you can handle all of it.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just about knowing the facts. It's about...
Right. It's about being able to apply them in different situations.
How can somebody...
Yeah, that's a good question. How can you
demonstrate that depth of knowledge in an interview?
that depth of knowledge?
Yeah.
It's a good question.
Like, how do you prove it?
Well, I think it's about showcasing your awareness of the latest advancements and trends
In podiatry?
in podiatry.
Okay.
Like, for example,
Yeah.
imagine they ask you about your interest in diabetic foot care.
Okay.
Instead of just like listing the basics,
Right.
you could mention, some of the recent research on early detection techniques
Oh, that's interesting.
or like new wound care technologies.
Ah, yeah.
That shows you're not just like knowledgeable.
Right.
You're passionate and you stay ahead of the curve.
That's great. So it's about really going beyond the textbook.
Absolutely.
Showing that you're engaged with like the evolving world of podiatry.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good insight.
Think?
So we talked about knowledge. Now let's move to like clinical skills.
Right.
Because it's one thing to say I'm skilled, but how do you actually prove it
Right.
to a potential employer?
To a potential employer.
What would you suggest?
Well, I think storytelling is really crucial here.
Ooh,
Think about a challenging case that you've encountered.
okay.
One that really like tested you,
Uh-huh.
tested your diagnostic and treatment abilities.
Okay.
But instead of just saying, oh, I treated a patient with X condition,
Right.
take them through the process.
Okay, so walk me through that.
Okay.
How would you
Yeah, how would you structure?
structure a really
Yeah.
compelling story?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Let's say,
That showcases your skills.
let's say you encountered a patient with chronic heel pain.
Oh, yeah, that's so common.
Right. And you could describe how you used a combination of like physical examination, gait, analysis, x-rays to pinpoint the root cause,
Okay.
which could be something like plantar fasciitis or even a stress fracture.
Yeah.
And then you could go into detail about your treatment plan and how you decided on a specific orthotic or injection therapy.
Right.
So by highlighting the steps that you took and the positive outcome, you're demonstrating your expertise in action.
It's like you're creating this mini case study
Yeah.
that highlights like your problem-solving abilities and also your attention to detail.
Yeah. It's not just about what you did, but like how you thought through the whole process.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now let's tackle another question that I know comes up a lot.
Yeah.
How do you stay updated on the latest trends in podiatry?
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
I feel like everyone says, oh, I read journals.
Right. Everyone says I read journals. But
Is there a way to make your answer
yeah, how
you
more impactful?
how do you stand out?
Yeah. I think you need to think about a recent article that like really resonated with you.
Oh, okay.
Maybe one discussing new surgical techniques for bunion correction
Oh,
or advancements in custom orthotics.
got it.
And, mentioning a specific article,
Yeah.
maybe even quoting a key takeaway,
Oh, that's good.
shows that you're not just passively reading.
Yeah.
You're actively engaging with the information.
You're really absorbing it.
Yeah, exactly.
And incorporating it
Yeah,
into your practice.
Exactly.
That's really good.
Yeah.
So now building on that, let's talk about that question that everyone always gets.
What's that?
What interests you
Oh, yeah.
about our facility?
That's a good one.
I feel like so many people
Uh-huh.
just give generic compliments.
Right. It was just like,
Yeah. Oh, you have a great team.
Right. It sounds like a great place to work.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah, I've heard good things.
But yeah, how do you make that
Right. How do you make that more specific?
more specific?
I think this is your chance to show you've done your research.
Yeah.
And you're genuinely interested in their specific environment.
That's right.
So have they recently invested in new technology?
Okay.
Do they specialize in like a particular area of podiatry?
Right.
Perhaps they have a strong reputation for community outreach.
Uh-huh.
You got to weave these details in
Yeah.
your answer to show them that you've gone beyond just a quick glance
Right.
at their website.
It's like you're saying, I see you.
Yeah.
I understand your values.
Right.
I can see myself working here.
And I can contribute
Contributing.
to your team.
It's not just any podiatry job.
Right.
It's this podiatry job.
That's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now let's move into a slightly trickier territory.
Right.
And talk about questions
Yeah.
that delve into like soft skills and handling difficult situations.
Those are always tricky.
It feels like you're walking a tightrope.
Yeah. Like you want to be honest,
Yeah.
but also present yourself
Not
in a positive light.
too honest.
Right.
Yeah. So for example, you might be asked,
Okay.
how would you handle an uncooperative patient?
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one.
Or what are your strategies
Oh.
for staying calm under pressure?
Oh, those are tough questions.
Yeah, those are hard.
Yeah.
Or, like, I feel the pressure just thinking about them.
Me too.
So how do
Yeah.
you strike that balance between honesty
Honesty, yeah.
and showing that you can handle these situations?
Right. You don't want to lie,
Right,
but you want to be honest,
right.
but also show that you can handle it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What would you say?
I think it's about drawing from like your real world experiences,
Okay.
and highlighting specific strategies that you've developed.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of just saying,
Right.
oh, I'm a patient person.
Right.
You could share a story
Okay.
about a time when you encountered a really challenging patient,
Okay.
someone who was like anxious or hesitant about a treatment,
Mm-hmm.
and then describe how you actively listened to them,
Right.
address their fears,
Okay.
and ultimately gain their trust.
So it's about showing, not telling.
Exactly.
I like that.
Yeah.
Now, this Indeed guide
Yep.
also mentions questions that really dig into your experience
Mhm.
with specific conditions and procedures.
Oh, like what?
Like,
Yeah.
you might be asked about your experience with diabetic foot care
Okay.
or common foot problems that you've encountered.
Got it.
So how do you approach those questions
Right.
in a way that shows your expertise, but you don't want to overwhelm the interviewer with jargon?
Right. You don't want to, too much technical stuff.
Right. What's the balance?
I think it's about finding that sweet spot
Okay.
between showcasing your knowledge
Yeah.
and communicating clearly.
Okay.
So let's say you're asked about plantar fasciitis.
Okay. Yeah.
Instead of launching into this super detailed explanation,
Right.
you could just briefly describe it
Okay.
in layman's terms,
Okay.
highlighting how it impacts a patient's daily life.
Mm-hmm.
And then you
Yeah.
can go into your approach.
Okay.
Maybe mention some techniques
Oh.
like ultrasound-guided injections
Right.
or custom orthotic fabrication.
So you're kind of like translating
Yeah, it's like translating
the complex stuff
the complex stuff.
into something everyone understands.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And that builds trust and rapport
It does. It does.
with your patients.
Now let's shift gears a bit.
Right.
And talk about a question that I think throws a lot of people off.
What's that?
What do you find most challenging
Oh, yeah.
about this job?
Oh, that's tricky.
It's a trap.
It is a trap.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you want to be honest.
You do want to be honest.
You don't want to
But you don't want to raise any red flags.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's tempting to just be like,
Like,
oh, I love everything.
oh, there are no challenges.
There's no challenges.
Yeah.
But
But that sounds fake.
it sounds fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you answer that?
How do you answer that?
Honestly.
Honestly, without
Without your
shooting yourself in the foot.
Without, messing up the interview.
Yeah.
I think you got to think about an aspect of the job
Okay.
that you genuinely find challenging,
Uh-huh.
but also one that you have strategies for.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, for example,
Yeah.
instead of saying, I hate dealing with difficult patients,
Right.
what would you say?
You could say something like,
Yeah.
one of the challenges I've encountered is like communicating complex medical information
Okay.
to patients who might be anxious or overwhelmed. However,
Yeah.
I've learned to approach these situations with empathy and patience.
Okay.
Take the time to break down the information, make sure they feel heard and understood.
So you're framing the challenge as a skill that you're working on.
Exactly. I'm still learning.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's honest, but it's positive.
Yeah. It shows that you're growing.
You're growing.
Yeah.
Now, this Indeed guide also talks about being prepared to discuss the physical and mental demands
Oh, yeah.
of podiatry.
Of podiatry. It's a rewarding career.
It is,
Right.
but it's tough.
But it's tough.
Yeah.
So how can you talk about that?
Yeah.
Honestly, but also positively.
I think it's about acknowledging those demands, but also highlighting your coping mechanisms
Okay.
and your passion for the field.
Okay. I like that.
So you could say something like, I understand that podiatry can be physically demanding. You know?
Yeah. Long hours on your feet.
Yeah, long hours on your feet.
Dealing with difficult patients.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I prioritize self-care.
Okay.
I maintain a healthy lifestyle
Uh-huh.
outside of work.
Right.
And my passion for this, fuels me.
Right. So you're acknowledging the challenge.
Yes, acknowledging the challenge.
But you're showing that.
But I can handle it.
You can handle it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's realistic,
Uh-huh.
but it's positive.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up
Okay.
our deep dive into podiatrist interview prep,
What are some final thoughts?
final thoughts. I think the most important thing
Yeah.
is to remember that this interview isn't just about proving your knowledge.
Right.
It's about conveying your passion
Yeah.
for podiatry
That's right.
and your desire to help people.
It's like you're saying, here are my qualifications, but here's my heart.
Here's my heart. Exactly. And as you're stepping into that interview room,
Yeah.
remember, you're not just trying to get a job.
Right.
You're embarking on a journey.
It's a journey.
Yeah, make sure it's one that you're passionate about.
This has been so insightful.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
It feels like we went beyond just prepping for an interview.
Yeah.
We explored what it means to be a podiatrist.
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
Because this whole process of preparing for an interview can also be a process of self-discovery.
That's true.
Yeah, as you're researching the field, reflecting on your experiences,
Yeah.
you're figuring out what you want.
You're gaining a deeper understanding of yourself.
Exactly.
And what drives you.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in, like, the job hunt.
Right, just checking off the boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you need to take a step back.
Absolutely.
And ask yourself,
Yeah.
is this the right path?
Is this what I really want for me?
Is this for me?
Yeah. Because ultimately, the most successful podiatrists are the ones who are not only skilled,
Right.
but they're also passionate.
They love what they do.
They love what they do.
That's so important.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
That's it.
Our deep dive.
Our deep dive.
Into the world of podiatrist interview prep.
Well, I hope that was helpful.
We hope this has armed you
Yeah.
with the insights and confidence to not only land that job,
Yeah.
but to have a fulfilling career
That's the goal.
in podiatry.
It is.
Remember, this is just the beginning
This is just the beginning.
of your journey.
Of your journey.
Keep learning.
Keep growing.
Keep growing.
Never stop pursuing your passion.
Yes. And on that note, we will leave you to step confidently
Yeah.
into your future. Good luck.
Good luck out there.